In the darkness of an abandoned vehicle, tucked away behind a shuttered gas station in rural Kentucky, investigators made a haunting discovery. A single, bloody handprint inside the trunk. No one heard her screams. No one saw her final moments. But her handprint, smeared across cold metal, told the truth she never got to speak. Welcome back to True Crime Hub. Today, we bring you one of the most chilling and heart-wrenching stories we've ever covered. This isn't just a tale of tragedy. It's a reminder that even when voices are silenced, forensic evidence can scream the truth. This is the story of Lena Matthews, a vibrant 24-year-old nursing student whose disappearance sparked a statewide search, a desperate family's nightmare, and a trail of clues that led to one undeniable fingerprint of truth: the handprint in the trunk. Grab a blanket, keep the lights on, and let's dive deep. Lena Matthews wasn't someone you would expect to end up on a missing persons list. She was smart, loving, ambitious. A final-year nursing student in Lexington, Kentucky. She worked part-time at a local diner and volunteered at an animal shelter. Everyone loved Lena, especially her boyfriend, 26-year-old Brent Holloway. At least, that's what it seemed. They had been together for nearly 2 years. What started as a passionate relationship had gradually turned possessive. Friends described Brent as overbearing. Lena, always polite, brushed off concerns. But in the weeks leading up to her disappearance, her behavior changed. She was more distant, secretive, afraid. On the evening of March 18th, Lena texted her mom that she'd be heading home after her night shift. But she never walked through the front door. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Her car wasn't found. And Brent, he said she never showed up at his place, though she had told her best friend she planned to. Red flags were flying, but no one had answers. The hours after Lena's disappearance were chaos. Her family canvassed the neighborhood, posting flyers, talking to friends, going live on social media. But it was like she vanished into thin air. Police were reluctant at first. Lena was an adult. Maybe she just needed space. But her family knew better. Her father, Marcus Matthews, drove across 3 counties looking for any trace of her. Her mother, Denise, called local hospitals, police stations, and shelters. Surveillance footage from a gas station on I-64 finally offered a lead. Lena's blue Honda Civic was seen pulling in around 11:42 p.m. She filled up her tank, waved at the cashier, and then drove off into the night. That was the last known sighting. But there was more. Behind the scenes, Lena had been documenting everything. Photos of bruises, texts from Brent, voicemails filled with anger. She had created a private folder on her laptop labeled, "Just in case." 5 days later, a call came in. A farmer had spotted an abandoned car behind an old, boarded-up gas station 40 miles from Lexington. It matched Lena's license plate. Police arrived on scene. The car was locked, windows fogged from the inside. Something didn't feel right. When they opened the trunk, their worst fears were confirmed. Lena was there, wrapped in a tarp, bruises on her face, duct tape over her mouth. But one thing stood out most: a single, bloody handprint on the trunk lid. Her final act, a cry for help. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as asphyxiation. There were signs of a struggle, defensive wounds. The ME estimated she had been alive for hours after being placed in the trunk. She died trying to escape. Brent Holloway was devastated on camera, crying, pleading for Lena to come home. But detectives weren't convinced. His alibi was shaky. Cell tower data showed his phone pinging near the gas station where Lena's car was found. Then came the texts, hundreds of them. Brent had a history of control, jealousy, and rage. Lena had confided in friends that she wanted to leave him. She had started seeing a counselor. She had even contacted a local domestic violence shelter, gathering brochures and learning her rights. Police brought Brent in. Under questioning, Brent cracked. Not with a confession, but with lies that fell apart quickly. He claimed he hadn't seen her in days, but security footage from the diner showed otherwise. They left together that night. His car was impounded. Inside, police found duct tape, gloves, and a receipt from a rural gas station, dated the same night Lena vanished. The handprint wasn't just symbolic. It was evidence. Crime scene techs lifted fingerprints and swabbed the trunk for DNA. The blood matched Lena. But the prints? A partial belonged to Brent. His fingerprints were inside the trunk. More forensics piled up. Fibers from Brent's hoodie were found on Lena's clothes. Dirt from the location where the car was discovered was also found on his boots. The most damning, The car's GPS history showed the route Lena never drove. Luminol testing revealed smears of blood wiped clean with bleach. The bleach bottle was found in Brent's trash can. His internet history. Searches like how long can someone survive in a trunk and ways to erase fingerprints. Brent was arrested 2 weeks later. The trial was a media storm. The prosecution painted a clear timeline. Lena tried to end the relationship. Brent couldn't let go. He abducted her, assaulted her, and left her in the trunk to die. The handprint became the emotional centerpiece. Her final statement. The courtroom listened in silence as forensic experts explained the pressure pattern on the handprint. Lena had pounded, clawed, and pushed with all her strength. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Brent Holloway was found guilty of first-degree murder, unlawful imprisonment, and obstruction of justice. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Lena's family started a foundation in her name, Lena's Light. It focuses on domestic violence awareness, especially in young relationships. Her story, her handprint, became a symbol that even in death, truth leaves a mark. Her mother, during the foundation's first fundraiser, said, "She didn't have a voice in her last moments, but her handprint spoke volumes." The foundation sponsors scholarships for young women entering healthcare, Lena's chosen field. They also distribute safety kits for domestic violence victims, including hidden GPS trackers and legal guides. After Brent's conviction, the community breathed a sigh of relief. But for Lena's family, the trial's end marked a beginning of a different journey: healing, advocacy, and honoring Lena's memory. Brent's legal team tried to appeal the conviction a year later, citing mishandled evidence. But the appellate court denied the request, reinforcing that the forensic evidence, particularly the blood pattern and GPS data, were overwhelming and properly processed. The location where Lena's body was found has since been transformed. With permission from authorities, her family placed a small memorial there, a bench, a plaque with her picture, and a quote she once wrote in her journal: "You don't need to be loud to be heard." The handprint was more than a bloody mark. It was a forensic signature, a timeline trigger, and an emotional anchor. Crime scene analysts used 3D scans to replicate pressure, angle, and direction. It showed Lena was likely conscious when placed in the trunk and fought to the end. Her struggle left traces: broken fingernails, DNA from Brent under her nails, and the position of the body indicating she attempted to shift, twist, and bang on the trunk lid. Lena's case is now used in law enforcement training courses to teach forensic interpretation of victim-initiated evidence. Months later, while cleaning out Lena's apartment, her sister found an old cell phone Lena had stopped using. On it, a voice memo, dated 2 weeks before her death. "If anything happens to me, check Brent. I know that sounds dramatic, but he's not who you think he is." The memo was never shared at trial, but it was enough for her family to finally understand that Lena had sensed danger and tried to warn those she loved. The memo has since gone viral, becoming both chilling and empowering for survivors of domestic abuse. Lena's story has echoed across the country. True crime podcasts, advocacy groups, and college seminars have examined her case. But her family never wanted her legacy to be her death. Instead, they celebrate her life, her smile, her compassion, her unwavering love for animals and people. Every year on March 18th, Lena's Light holds a candlelight vigil. Hundreds attend. They read her writings, release paper lanterns, and place red handprint stickers on nearby walls in remembrance. Lena Matthews left behind more than a trail. She left behind purpose, a mission, and proof that truth, even when silenced, can speak. The story of Lena Matthews is tragic, horrifying, but also deeply important. It shows us how forensic evidence can tell the story the victim can't. How a single handprint can be a cry for justice. If you or someone you know is in an unsafe relationship, there is help. We've left resources in the description below. Please share Lena's story, not just to remember her, but to protect others who may be silently suffering. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another case. Your support helps us keep these stories alive, and sometimes helps find justice where it's long overdue. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, the truth always leaves a trace.